Welcome to lesson number 6, Payment System Types, their risk, and how to secure them. In one of our previous videos, I said that we were going to spend some time working with documentation directly from the PCI Security Standards Council. And in this lesson, we are going to start with one of our first documents. And in this lesson, you are going to understand all of the different payment system types. If you are an internal resource for your organization, you want to understand how it is your organization processing payments, the different systems that your organization it is implementing, and what type of risk it is associated with each one of those payment system types. Now, on the other hand, if you're an assessor and you want to understand the environment of your client, let's say of the merchant that you're assessing, this is very helpful for you as well. So let's get to it. I am going to show you first how to get to the document that we are going to be working with, and then we'll get into more details. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to your browser, either Google, Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Firefox, you name it. And we are going to type PCI-DSS, Payment Card Industry Security Standards Council. Then we are going to make click on the PCI Council's website. Now we are going to resources right here. We're going to make click. And we are going to merchant resources. Do some click here, scroll down a little bit. And right here, common payment systems. Now, if you look at the description, real-life visuals to help identify what type of payment system a small business use. Now it says here small businesses, but this is useful for any type of business, any size. And the kinds of risk associated with their system and actions they can take to protect it. So let's get to it. So here we are, Common Payment Systems, version 2.0. This is the current version as of 2022, December 2022. And this version was created on August 2018. Now, a brief introduction here in the first page, payment system types and how to secure them. Payment system types, to protect your business against payment data theft, you first have to understand how to take payments in your store or shop. What kind of equipment do you use? How are your bank and technology vendor partners? And who are your bank and technology vendor partners? And how do these things all fit together? So it is already giving you kind of an idea of what we are going to cover here and why it is so important for you as an internal resource or as an assessor. Use these real-life visuals to identify what type of payment system you use, the kinds of risk associated with your system, and the security steps you can take to protect it. As you can already tell in the description, you can already kind of deduce that this is a very important document, critical for almost anyone interested in the payment card industry. A couple of terms that we want to understand and review before getting into the payment system types. First, payment terminal. Payment terminal in this case is the device used to take customers' card payments via swipe, dip, insert, tap, or manual entry of the card number. Basically, when you go to the store, that machine that you see at the time of payment where you insert or scan your card, that's the payment terminal for the purposes of PCI. Second, electronic cash register. Now, these are not usual anymore. This is not common. But let's see what it is. An electronic cash register registers and calculates transactions and may print out receipts, but it does not accept customer card payments. So basically, it gives you the receipt, but it's not going to take your card directly. Next, integrated payment terminal. This is like the combo. This has the payment terminal and the electronic cash register into one single device. Okay, and now the payment system types at a glance. I want to do this in a more interactive way, and there is something that we can use from the PCI console as well, but I wanted to show you the introduction in this document. Once we are done with the introduction, you can do it by yourself, go through the whole document. I really recommend you and encourage you to do that. It is a very useful guide, and you will find a lot of information regarding how to secure payment system types more in detail. But for the purposes of this class, let's do it more interactive. So we are going to go back. I want to show you how to get there. So again, in the PCI console website, resources for merchant, resources, and scroll down in Data Security Essentials Evaluation Tool. We're going to click in here. It's going to ask us, do you acknowledge that you are using this tool for information only and that you are advised to contact your merchant bank about next steps? So for training purposes, yes. Have you reviewed developing data security essential resources? Guide to safe payments. We just were looking at that one. So we're going to say yes here. And I am ready to identify my payment system. So let's begin with payment system types 1 and 2. Type 1, dial-up payment terminal, payments sent via phone line. It is a very simple, pretty straightforward. So basically the terminal, it is going to communicate with your bank via phone line. The dial-up payment terminal shows it is dialing for each transaction. It is going to print, and this is something you want to remember, paper documents with card data. We might have a situation of compromise here if you don't properly secure those paper records, or if you don't need them, you need to make sure you get rid of those documents in a secure and proper way. So let's review what the risk is for this type of payment. Let's see what the PCI console says about it. So click on risk. And number 1, electronic card data inside the payment terminal. If we are not securing this terminal, someone somehow gets access to it. There is card data inside of this device. That's not something we want to happen. Risk number 2, hard copy card data, for example, on paper receipts or reports. Now that's the risk, but what is the threat? The threat, number 1, the bad guys, the hackers, the thieves, you name it. They are doing this, they're not good people. That's it. They can steal card data via skimming, equipment they attach to or embed into your payment terminal, and they steal your terminal, replacing it with a modified one used to get your card data. The threat number 2, as I already said before, they steal those receipts or paper reports that you don't secure, that you keep when you no longer need, or that you don't dispose of securely. So basically, if you don't need it, make sure that you destroy it, but you destroy it in a secure way. For example, if you're going to burn those papers and you just put them on fire, but you don't know if maybe that fire someone gets to the point that extinguishes the fire, but still can see those numbers or that card data, that's a situation you don't want to be in. There are companies out there for this particular matter that can give you a certificate of destruction at the end of completely disposal of these type of documents. But if that's a solution you cannot implement because maybe it is too expensive, you're a very small merchant, you don't have the resources for that, cross-shading might be something you can or you might want to think of. Protections. So we already know what the payment system is, what is the risk, what is the threat. Now let's see how to protect it. Protections. First, protect card data and only keep what you need. Basically, if you don't need it, don't store it. That's it. Ask your vendor partners for help if you need it. Maybe no. 99% of the times, the vendor who is providing these type of devices to you has some guidance or some type of secure ways to implement or operate or introduce this device or system into your environment. Inspect your payment terminals for damage or changes. This is basic. If you see something weird in your device, you see that it is not in the way that it normally is, you might be thinking something is going on, something is not right about this device. I might be either replacing it or contact the vendor to see what's going on. Sometimes it is not something easy to detect. It is not simple, and that's when we have problems. Next, protect in-house access to your card data. Not everybody needs access to card data. Limit it to only those specific persons or roles who really need access to card data. Now, if that's not the payment system type that you are using in your environment, so we're going to click here where it says, no, I'm not positive this is my payment system. Show me the overview again. So we're going to click here and let's review payment system types 3 and 4. Payment terminal and electronic cash registers separately connected to the internet, and payments sent via internet by payment terminal. So we have our payment terminal here on top and our electronic cash registers separately. Payments are sent via the internet to your bank. Now let's see what the risk is for these type of payments. First, again, as in our previous type of devices, electronic card data inside the payment terminal. The same issue with the card data in paper, in our receipts. And the third risk is electronic card data in transit from payment terminal to processor. Now, if we go here to overview, there is one message here that it says, if you're using a PCI listed point-to-point encryption solution, that would take this payment system type to another different, in this case, type 15. Point-to-point encryption, basically once the card is inserted, the information we're reading the information here. At that point, the card data, it gets encrypted, it is sent encrypted, there is no card data transmitted here, so it is secure. Now let's look at the threat for this payment system type. Threats. Very similar to our previous payment system types. Basically, the bad guys can steal first the card data via skimming. They can also steal your terminal and replace it with a modified one. Now the difference with this payment system type is that they can already insert malware into this payment system, and that would enable them to steal card data. And the second threat for this payment system type, it is, again, they can steal those receipts or paper reports that you don't secure, that you keep when you no longer need, or that you don't dispose of securely. How can we protect these payment system types? First, use strong passwords. Second, use secure payment systems, P2P solutions. Protect in-house access to your card data. If not all of your employees need access to card data, not all of your employees should be accessing card data. Simple. Inspect your payment terminals for damage or changes. Once we start going through the PCI-DSS requirements, there is one particular requirement addressing this topic right here. Use antivirus software. Requirement number 5. Get regular vulnerability scanning. Requirement 11. Ask your vendor partners for help if you need it. Technical support is always welcome. Protect card data and only keep what you need. Again, this is very simple, very basic, and it's kind of obvious. If you don't need it, don't keep it. And if you need to keep it for business purposes, make sure that you are protecting it. Protect your business from the internet. Limit remote access for your vendor partners and don't give hackers easy access. Access management, critical. Install patches from your payment terminal vendor. Make sure that your device is always with the latest update. And finally, make your card data useless to criminals. Pretty straightforward. Now, if this is not your payment system type, again, we're going to say, no, I am not positive this is my payment system. Please take me back to the overview page. Now, let's review payment system type number 5. Payment terminal connected to electronic cash register. Payment sent via internet by electronic cash register is basically the same payment system type than our previous one. The only difference is that we can have either a payment terminal or a payment system like this one. I'm assuming this is a P2P solution. Basically, the data, card data from this point to this point is going to be encrypted, and it is going to be encrypted from the electronic cash register to the bank. Now, what is the risk of using this type of solution? Before moving to the risk, I want you to look at this risk profile here that it says, is card data encrypted? That means we are using a P2P solution. If yes, the risk profile for this payment system type, it is low, but if not, might be the case here, I'm assuming, then the risk profile, it is going to be very high. Let's see. Electronic card data inside the payment terminal. Electronic card data in transit, if it's not encrypted, yes, that's a big problem. Someone can be intercepting that transmission, that data in transit. Electronic card data inside the electronic cash register. Remember, the cash register in this case, it is going to retransmit that data to our bank. And then we see again here card data on receipts. And what is the threat for these type of payment system types? First, and again, this is very similar to our previous one. First, we have skimming. Second, we have the bad guys can steal your terminal and replace it with a modified one. They can steal your card data via access to your electronic cash register by installing malware. And finally, they can steal your receipts. Those receipts containing a lot of credit card data, that's a big problem there. Now, how do we secure this type of payment type? Protections, strong passwords, secure payment systems, protect in-house access to your card data. Remember, access is limited to only those people who really need to. Inspecting your payment terminals, antivirus solutions, getting your devices scanned against any type of vulnerabilities, ask your vendor for support, protect card data, and only keep what you need. I want to make a big emphasis in this: protect only what you need and limit the access to only those who really need to have access to your card data. Protect your business from the internet, firewalls. You want to think about having a secure infrastructure. Limit remote access for your vendor partners. Install patches from your vendor and make your card data useless to criminals. Now, again, if this is not your payment system type, we're going to go back and let's go to payment system type 6, 7, and 8. Integrated payment terminal and payment middleware share card data. And the payment, it is sent via the internet. Now, things are a little bit different here. So we have our integrated payment terminal. We are taking card data here. It is going to the payment middleware. Now, if you don't know what a middleware is, it is basically a software that enables some type of services. In this case, services to help us and support the processing of this transaction. And then the data, it is going to send via the internet to the bank. Now let's look at our risk profile for this payment type. Again, if card data, it is encrypted, it is very low risk. If not, it is very high. So let's look at risk. Where is your card data at risk with this payment system type? First, electronic card data inside the payment terminal or in the system with payment middleware. Or card data in transit. So it is at risk in the systems or while it is in transit. Now let's look at the threat. Now the threat here, first we have skimming. Skimming is still a threat here. Second, they can steal your terminal, modify it, then put it back. Third, malware. We can have malware here and basically be sending card data in real time to a different location. And four, they can have access to your environment via the same remote access that you would normally allow your vendor use and be stealing or taking all of that card data. Now, how do we protect against these threats? Strong passwords. Secure payment systems, protect in-house access to your card data, inspecting your devices using antivirus, get regular vulnerability scans, ask your vendor partners for help, technical support again, very helpful, protect card data and only keep what you need, protect your business from the internet, firewalls, limit remote access to your vendor partners. If they don't need to have access, you better remove that access. Install patches from your payment terminal vendor. Make sure you always keep your systems up to date with the latest update. Make your card data useless to criminals. Now, one of the things that I want to kind of highlight here is that the threat of malware, it becomes kind of more real in this case. We have this integrated payment terminal and malware, it is a big one here. Now, if this is not your payment system type, let's go back. Now let's review our next one, payment system types 9, 10, and 11. Via e-commerce. E-commerce merchant with fully outsourced payment page, form, and payment sent via PCI-DSS compliant third-party service provider. Now, things here start to get a little bit interesting. We can either have the URL or the website of the merchant taking and processing the full transaction from beginning to end, or the merchant can be redirecting that transaction to a payment processor or service provider. So let's see what the risk is. First, electronic card data, even though merchant doesn't capture or store it, because of weaknesses on the merchant website. Electronic card data out of third-party e-commerce hosting service provider, shopping cart provider, etc. Now let's see what the threat is. Card data being stolen from your website or the website of the merchant because there is a vulnerability in that specific website. And something that you could see here is, for example, cross-site scripting. You are going to pay for the goods or services that you think you're paying for in that particular website of the merchant. And what happens in reality is that you're going to be redirected to the bad guy's website and you think that you're paying for that service, but in reality you are just giving your information to a criminal organization or just hacker, someone stealing your data. And the second threat in this case, it might be not your environment, your website, the merchant, but the service provider's website. Let's look at the different type of protections we can have in place for this payment system type. First, using strong passwords. Ask your vendor for help, technical support. Protect card data and only keep what you need. Protect in-house access to your card data. If this is not your payment system type, let's go back to our next one. Types 12 and 13. You accept payments via PCI listed secure card reader attached to a mobile device. For me personally, this is probably the only one that I would never recommend. It is risky. People can get into your mobile device, into your cell phone very easily. There are hundreds, thousands of different cases that we can read in the internet. People having their Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled, or they are connecting their cell phones in public Wi-Fi's, and hackers or government organizations are getting access to those phones or those devices. So for me personally, this is the most vulnerable payment system type. Some people might think different. This is just my opinion. And it's not because the system itself it is weak or it is not secure enough. It is because how we treat our phones. People, not everyone pays attention to where they are connecting to. If you are in an airport, you are going to see that a lot of people it is using the airport Wi-Fi. If you, for example, look at your friend's phone by chance, most of the time people have the Bluetooth enabled even if they are not using it. That's just not secure. And they have their Wi-Fi enabled even if they are not using it. So again, it is not because the payment system type itself, but because the behavior of the end user. So let's see what the risk is for this payment system type. Electronic PIN data is if entered directly into the mobile phone or tablet, and electronic card data if entered directly into the mobile phone or tablet. What is the threat? First, the bad guys hack into your phone, tablet, and insert malware. There are multiple ways they can do this. Again, connecting into those public Wi-Fi's like in the airports, in Starbucks. Though there's a lot of people still doing that. And if they are using that same device for accepting payments, guess what? Most likely they are going to get that device hacked. Second, they use applications getting from the App Store, and those applications already come with a vulnerability. Those Trojans, that's real. And third, skimming. Skimming still can happen here. Now, how do we protect this type of payment type? Ask your vendor for support. Protect card data and only keep what you need. Protect your business from the internet. There are multiple ways here using VPNs, having firewalls or secure connections. There are multiple ways nowadays for securing a mobile device. Limit remote access for your vendor. Use secure payment systems. How do you know what a secure payment system is? Well, there is a list of secure payment system types in the PCI Security Standards Council. Protect in-house access to your card data. Inspect your payment terminals for damage or changes. If you see something that is not usual, most likely you are not using the original device. You're using a modified one, most likely. Install patches from your payment terminal vendor and make your card data useless to criminals. Now, if this is not your payment system type, let's go to type 14. You are taking that card data via virtual terminals. How is that? Well, here we are. And here is what the PCI Council says about virtual terminals. A virtual terminal is a web page accessed via the merchant, for example, with a computer or tablet. Merchant manually enters card data via their web browser into the virtual terminal. For merchants without a traditional payment terminal, they manually enter transactions one at a time and usually have low payment transactions volume. For example, those doing sales from home. A note that we have here for this payment system type is that there is a great risk of compromise if the mobile payment acceptance is done over unprotected public Wi-Fi's. Remember what I said before? If you are in the airport and you're doing this, no, that's a terrible idea. Risk. Electronic card data on the PC or mobile phones, tablets, used to access virtual payment terminals website. And what is the threat? The hacker gets into your device, installs malware, and that card data, it is going to be sent to that hacker. And second, if you are connected to a public or unsecure Wi-Fi, and let me tell you something, Wi-Fi, no matter how secure you think it is not very secure. Just take some time and skilled hackers can get into it. So if you are connected to a public Wi-Fi, Starbucks, airports, library, public places, those public Wi-Fis are a big no-no for anything. If you really have no other option, then that might be the last resource, but no to public Wi-Fis. How can we protect this device, this payment system type? Strong passwords, protect your business from the internet, firewalls if possible, use the antivirus software, ask your vendor for support, limit remote access, and install patches from your payment terminal vendor. Last, get regular vulnerability scans. If you can do that, that's amazing. That's something great, always recommended. If this is not your payment system type, let's go back and let's review our last payment system type. You are taking payments via a PCI listed P2P solution. This is my favorite one. This is the most probably secure way of taking payments. P2P solutions. So let's see what it is, what the PCI Council says about it. Payment terminal encrypts card data via a PCI listed point-to-point encryption solution, P2P solution, that's what it stands for. Payment sent to the PCI listed P2P solution provider. So basically what this means is at the point of payment in your device, you insert the card, that information taken from the card, it is encrypted and it is sent to wherever it needs to go. It is encrypted. No data, it is sent via plain text. No data, it is unprotected. From the time of the purchase and the time of your inserting the card into that device, that P2P solution, the card data, it is encrypted, and there's it is the secure, probably for me, and this is just a personal opinion, this is the securest or the best way to do it. How do you know if you are using a P2P solution? Well, you go to the PCI Council's website and you make sure that that solution, it is listed of one of the P2P solutions in the PCI Council's website. Again, data at the point of sale, you insert your card data, it is encrypted, and during the transmission from point A to point B, card data, it is encrypted. Very low risk. But still there is risk. So let's see what the risk is. Papers. If you have card data on paper, that's a big no-no. If you're using a P2P solution, probably you don't need to have card data on paper. But if for some reason you do, you need to make sure you are properly securing those receipts. Electronic card data, second, electronic card data, because someone comes into your shop and replaces your terminal. Might be someone pretending to be a technician from that vendor who in reality is not a technician but a hacker. Social engineering, that's real. And third, electronic card data if payment terminal is installed incorrectly. Make sure you follow the instructions, and most likely you are not going to be the one installing it. There's going to be someone from that vendor who will help you to install that device, or at least give you some guidance on how to do it properly. Now let's look at the threats. First, the bad guys can steal card data from the receipts. Second, they can steal your terminal and replace it with a modified one. That's always the biggest issue with P2P solutions. And third, they steal card data via weaknesses present because you didn't follow the P2P instructions manual. So basically you have a great solution, but because you didn't install it properly, there is a vulnerability there and hackers can take advantage of that. Now, how do we protect these payment system types? Protect card data, only keep what you need. If those paper receipts are not needed, don't have them. Inspect your payment terminals for damage or changes. This is requirement 9. You're gonna find this in requirement 9 of the DSS, which basically says that you need to make sure that your devices are being inspected, that you train your people in order to detect suspicious behaviors, and also you need to keep a list of these devices. Now, if that's not your payment system type, after all of the ones that we reviewed here, then you're not a merchant. Just kidding. Those are all of the different payment system types. I hope this lesson was helpful for you. Remember, this is all documentation you can access in the PCI Security Standards Council website. Feel free to go to the PCI Council website and do some research. Spend some time reading, especially the PDF document. It's very useful, very helpful. There's a lot of great information that you can see here. And if you are new to the payment card industry, this is like gold for you. And that's it for this lesson. See you in the next one.